Thank you, Mr. Yakum. Now recognize Ms. Chu of California.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Democrats agree that changes are needed to ensure TANF dollars aren't used for fraudulent purposes, like when Brett Favre and the state of Mississippi diverted millions meant for low-income families to fund a volleyball court at his daughter's college. But I find it very hard to believe Republicans are serious about addressing this. For example, the GAO has recommended that Congress give HHS the authority to collect additional TANF information from states. Democrats actually already introduced a bill to do exactly that, and it's called the TANF State Expenditure Integrity Act, led by Ranking Member Davis and me, and it would address what happened in Mississippi by finally giving the federal government authority over how states spend non-cash assistance funds, which is 80% of all TANF spending. But Republicans have declined to work with us to move this bill forward, which is shocking considering all this talk about fraud, waste, and abuse. We've also heard several GAO recommendations for how HHS and federal TANF staff can better monitor and prevent fraud, but those will be pretty hard to be able to implement after Secretary Kennedy and Elon Musk's Doge fired the entire TANF policy division, along with most of the TANF program integrity staff last week. They fired the very staff responsible for monitoring TANF fraud and shut down half of HHS's regional offices throughout the country, which investigated fraud, waste, and abuse on the ground. And yet, we haven't heard a peep from our Republican colleagues about this. They refuse to even question these firings. So let me say it's clear that Republicans in Congress aren't interested in genuine reform to improve program integrity. So why are they really holding this hearing? Well, we know they want to pass a reconciliation bill to give tax breaks to the ultra wealthy. And how will they do it? By proposing massive cuts to programs like Medicaid and, yes, TANF. But to cut a program, they first try to discredit it. And that's been their playbook over and over again, and that's why we are here today. Republicans are simply trying to set the stage to make devastating cuts to TANF. Now, TANF is not a perfect program, but it is a lifeline for low-income families and a vital source of child care and child welfare funding in many states. But Republicans want to take this money directly out of the pockets of the most vulnerable children and families and hand it over to the ultra wealthy. It's shameful, and Democrats won't stand for it. And Republicans have been silent on the Trump administration's recent cancellation of 5 TANF pilots authorized by Congress 2 years ago in a bipartisan manner. These pilots were testing new and better ways to promote work and improve outcomes for families receiving TANF assistance, and we're going to inform Congress on how to reform TANF so it's more effective in helping families achieve long-term stability. After a thorough selection process, 5 states were awarded a pilot, including my home state of California. But last month, HHS Secretary Kennedy abruptly canceled everything. And Ms. Summerlot, Ohio was one of those 5 states awarded the TANF pilot, which the administration canceled. Can you share more about what Ohio had planned to do with this pilot and why this would have been important for families and children in your state?
Yes, Chairman LaHood, Representative Chu, thank you. Yes, Ohio's pilot design was designed to build upon the framework that other programs and other pilots like the Benefit Bridge have been using, and that would have allowed us to scale those statewide. Currently, we have 12 counties that are operating with that framework and using a holistic approach to look at the entire person's life and strengthening each domain of that life to ensure that once they get a job, they can keep it and they can keep going. So the lost opportunity to scale was certainly a surprise.
Thank you. I yield back.